Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss. It's Humpday, Hoedown, and I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us tonight. We've got some emails to read, some text messages, some voicemails. Please note, I'm going back to the old phone number, 866-597-9901. That little Google Fi experience was just not very satisfying, so we had to go get rid of it and go back to the old one. But we got a fun show planned today.
Julie, guess what day it is? Julie, Julie. Mike, what day is it, Mike? Come on, I know you can hear me. Anybody? Woo-hoo! Mike, what day is it, Mike? Anybody? Julie, Julie. Hey, guess what day it is? Julie, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike, what day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's Hump Day.
Woo-hoo! Hump day.
So, is there something about going live where we lose it for some reason? I'm not sure. We had the music before, right? We could hear it.
Why is there two screens?
Because I just did the settings. I just changed studio mode. So, because last week I was trying to change something in one of our preview screens, and when you have it in the single studio mode image, you can't change it.
Right.
So I went back to the old style.
Oh.
Not the old style, the different. I got preview and production. Wait, you guys are having to put up with this. Hey, how is everybody? Hey, Facebook, S.A. Michaels, calling in from New York on Facebook. Facebook, we see you. So chat along with us. Guys in the YouTube, you can say anything you want about the people in the YouTube chat room because they can't see you, but we can. So, how was your week?
My weekend?
Yeah, it is pretty much weekend.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well recovered, fully recovered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kept busy.
I had a dental hygiene appointment today, so
Yeah.
I thought I wasn't going to make it back in time for your show.
Watched a lot of movies.
Yeah. Watching movies is good.
Saw First Man. We watched Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom.
It's another
They're all the same.
dinosaurs chasing kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we got a Hump Day Hoedown for you here, and we do have some emails to read. If you, well, let me get to that in just a minute. We do have some emails. We got some text messages. We got a couple of voicemails, but I want to tell you what's going on with the phone number. So I wanted to test Google Fi with my phone last week because it reduced the amount of delay between the two conversations because we're always stepping over each other. But it had a bunch of other bad things going on with it. We couldn't see the texts. We couldn't hear the voicemails without reciting the phone number. You know how most voicemails said, you have a call now from 505-555-6555. And so that's nothing I want you guys to hear. So we went back to the old phone number. We're going to have to deal with the delay, but it has all the other good stuff. So,
All right.
thank you for that. Thank you for enduring our tests last Friday.
Yeah, they put up with a lot of, having to watch the buggy stuff. But that's okay.
No, but we have to. I mean,
if you never tried anything new, then
you never try anything
we'd still
new.
be standing up in Toby's apartment
Exactly.
dining room, and
Yeah.
we can't do that for
Yeah,
2
you haven't seen
hours.
this,
That's tiring.
That was back in the olden days when we were doing it in front of the dining. We had to set up. We had a 1.5 hour setup,
Yeah, and
recording,
then we had the TV behind us.
1 hour takedown, and then 5 to 10 hours worth of editing.
Now it's zip zap,
Zippity doo dah.
zippity doo dah.
Zippity doo dah.
Hey, Luis Hernandez is here.
Hey.
See?
Oh, so it is going to Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yours is. I don't know what mine did.
¿Qué pasó con el softer side?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I
you make
have
a man?
no idea.
Did you pay your bill?
No, never had to before.
Never had to be. Maybe
It's always free.
Like you want Facebook, it's costing you money. Okay, so let's do a little bit of.
Did you turn the volume off? What did you do?
I don't know. Could they hear that? Oh yeah, there we go.
What are you doing?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
There, I heard it
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear that?
that time.
All right. Let's see if we can hear
Wow.
that stuff. Please like our video. Before you leave tonight, make sure you like our video because the Harper Valley PTA likes it when you like our video.
They do.
Yeah, they do. I just heard that tonight.
Okay.
Share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your PTA, and all of your social networks so that we can.
School's out. Grow the channel. Unless you're doing homeschooling.
Yeah, if you're homeschooling, then yeah, share it with your PTA, the homeschool PTA, as opposed to the Harper Valley PTA. And then if you're not already a subscriber, this would be an ideal time to click that subscribe button. And then when you see the notifications bell, that scares somebody's dog. I can't remember who. When you see that
I'll get over it.
notifications bell, give it the thumb. And,
Give it the thumb.
Or whatever. What do they do? Click on
Smash it.
Smash down that notifications bell.
There you go.
And that way, when we start a live stream or we announce a live stream, you will be immediately informed and therefore
In the know.
in the know. And there's nothing better in life than being in the
In the
know.
know.
Now, if you want to communicate with us, notice how our friend William Hada has used the ever-present @ A space gypsies with a apostrophe kiss space kiss, so that way when we see it on our screen in front of us, there's an orange highlight around it so we can see that you're trying to talk to us. Sometimes if you don't do that, not all the time, but most of the time, when you don't do that, we don't see it and it goes flying by at the speed of light as our comments are wont
Speed of
to know. Yeah, it's
light.
pretty fast. Pretty dang fast.
Yeah, okay.
86,000 miles per second.
Your other options to get us to see your comments and questions is to either text us at this number here, 866-597-9901, or you can use that stylized grayed out $ at the bottom of the chat, which is called the Super Chat button, and take part in the Super Chat Challenge and donate to our lovely AGK Media, a Gypsy's Kiss conglomerate, and keep us going.
The Gypsy's Kiss conglomerate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep us going, and your comment or question will be highlighted in a beautiful box of varying colors according to the size of the donation. And we thank you. And if you don't like Super Chat, but you still want to donate, you can use our PayPal. Is that in the crawl or just, yeah, there it is.
PayPal
right
is
there.
up there, yeah.
There it is. PayPal.me at Gypsy's Kiss. Easy squeezy.
You know what? Keep going there. I've got to do something while
Okay,
you're talking.
one more thing I would like to let you know is I have a brand new Udemy course called How to Be Your Own Life Coach, and they premiered it this week, and for today only, they're having a special summer sale on that course for only $10.99. It's normally $89.99 for this course. So if you want a screaming deal, go check it out. The link is in the description box. Just go to that link, and it's only $10.99 today only. So I hope that you'll go check that out and support the softer side.
We had a couple of PayPal payments this week, and I wanted to say thank you to those folks.
Oh, yeah.
I sent them emails,
Yeah.
but I do want to say...
Speaking of the PayPals.
Oh. Oh, no.
Oh. Thought there was money.
Yeah. That so I do want to, let's see.
You just
Where's
need to
the-
look at your list of what just happened.
Activities.
How is the July Rooster list looking?
Oh,
Wow.
it was
Let's
long.
take a look at it. It's
Okay,
not long.
so
It's,
I wanna say thank
June
you.
was really big, but July, all we have is Denise Baker, a.k.a. Drawing Nye, Amuse in the Craft Room, Louise from Houston, Zoe the Cat, Tenarth, who we haven't heard from in a few
Ew,
weeks.
not since that one little...
Yeah, a little rooster claim, and Stephen Marilat. So that's our rooster roster for July. If you'd like to be
Mitzi says,
added to
"I
July,
love
let me know. Or August. August is a small
Still-
list as well. So if you want to be added to
For
July,
all those
August,
guys-
or the rest of the year, let me know.
Those guys that didn't make it in June, maybe you'd want to move it to August.
Yeah. And if you don't know what the Rooster roster is, it is a list of people who say they know where the treasure is and they're going to go get it. And then they tell us what month they're going to do that.
So if you want to be put on the list for the remainder of
Hey,
July,
Brian Ulrich.
remainder of July and August, and then by
Hey,
September.
Lynn McGrath is here.
Who?
Lynn McGrath. The
Lynn
guitar
McGrath, our
teacher.
guitarist?
Yeah.
We did a wonderful video. Hi,
Oh, look.
Lynn.
Kaching from PJ
Sono.
Sono won $10. Been watching for a long time. Thought I should finally show you guys some love and support. We appreciate that love and support and send it right back to you.
And there's no better way than to show your love and support than by giving us money. That sounds like something my daughter would say.
Hey,
wait,
Michael Hool.
Hey, Michael, long time no see. By the way, your videos are just getting progressively better. I love watching them. They're so intellectual. They're so thought-stimulating. I do want to say thank you to Crittenden Tuttle and Ken Blythe, both of whom made substantial contributions to our PayPal account.
Thank
and that was
you.
very kind of you
Oh,
guys.
we'll
Thank
get
you.
a ka-ching for you guys.
Get two ka-chings.
Crittenden and Ken.
Yes. So, and I do want to say thank you to our moderators who moderate in the moderation of the moderating room, including our friend Mitzi Moore TV, Hooli, who I haven't seen yet. We also have Greg Keller, ES, or Eric Schmidt, and then finally John Warner for Toby Fan 3000.
Yeah.
Oh, which by the way, Toby Fan 3000, that reminds me, we hit 5,200 subscribers this week, so thank you very much for that. That was, we're very grateful to our subscribers for subscribing.
Yeah.
5,200, baby.
I thought you were thanking John Werner for that. I was like, wait.
Oh, no, well, that's what I mean. He became Toby Fan. He was our
Did you mention
3,000
Hooli?
subscriber. I did mention Hooli.
Okay.
And Hooli and Mitzi and ES. But I haven't seen the guys in the room yet.
All
so
right.
it's a female-operated moderation tonight. So
Well, sometimes we don't see ES. He just stays quiet.
He just stays quiet until we need him, until he needs to swing that wrench. Okay, so let's go back. We already said thank you to PJ Sono. Davio says, I don't do belief.
Belief in what?
I don't know. Well, it was probably something that I referred to. William Hada from
Magic?
Connecticut.
Do you believe in
Okay,
magic?
so you ready for emails?
Oh, it's magic. Yeah.
You go first.
Okie doke. Are we going to play the video?
Email video. See, that's why I need you here.
I know you do.
That's why you can't do colonoscopies more than once every 5 years or so.
I don't plan to, thank you.
Let's see. Emails. Man, I would give my right arm to know what that.
Are you guys hearing the music?
No, they're
that goes
hearing
with
it.
the
I know
video?
they're hearing it.
They're hearing
For
it.
some reason, we're not hearing it.
We
I don't
heard it
know
on
why.
my show earlier today, and now we're
Yeah.
not hearing it. So it's very weird.
It's very weird.
Crazy.
We don't know what OBS is doing.
Crazy time.
Crazy
All right,
time for OBS.
We're ready for emails.
Go for
this
it.
is from Zero Brassy. TTOTC Clue. Hello, Toby and Shelley. This is Zero from California. Just wanted to let you know, Toby, that you handled last Friday's show by yourself marvelously. Marvelous.
Thank you.
Very impressed. My question to you both is that Forrest had said in a couple of interviews back in 2011 and 2013 that there is one clue in The Thrill of the Chase. I was wondering what you guys believe that one clue might be. Thanks, Zero. Zero was a character in Beetle Bailey, wasn't he?
That's before my time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Beetle who?
Beetle Bailey.
I know Beetle Bailey.
Comic strip.
What was the question?
He said there was one clue in The Thrill of the Chase.
No.
What is the one clue?
No, Forrest has never said there is one clue in The Thrill of the Chase. He said there are 9 clues in the poem, which happens to be in The Thrill of the Chase. He also said there were a couple of hints and a couple of aberrations on the edge in The Thrill of the Chase. There was a question about whether or not there was a clue in Too Far to Walk, and we thought it was one thing. We thought it was the story about the story in the preface about him walking 10 miles, and now it was too far to walk. But he admitted it. If you look at Moby Dickens,
Okay.
at Moby Dickens, he says it was the fact that Benchmark Maps had published the Rocky Mountains, and in the map that they published, the Rocky Mountains ended at Canada. So he felt like that was the clue in Too Far to Walk. But other than the clues in the poem, he's never said there are other clues in The Thrill of the Chase. He has said there are hints, and a couple of hints, and a couple of aberrations around the edges.
So Jason Dent says, text me later and I'll tell you how to fix the little OBS problem.
Oh, great. Thank you. I could sure use
Tech
that.
support.
Tech support. Well, he texted me on here too. Long time no chat. This one is from Albert Most, also known as William. Not that William, not our William. And he writes, Fenn treasure missing. Ooh, I feel a second place finisher coming up here. He writes, Fenn treasure missing, question mark. The 9th clue is an anagram of all, didn't we read this already? Of all the capital letters, basalt paint, fajitas.
Jippy. Jibby.
An anagram is not a code or a cipher, because Fenn didn't say there were no anagrams. He just said there were codes or ciphers.
Didn't he?
And the hiding location is, quote, in the wood, unquote, simply because, quote, Dubois, unquote, open parentheses, the town limits, close
Bois.
parentheses.
Didn't you tell me that was Du Bois?
It is, they pronounce it Du Bois.
Oh, okay.
Actually means, quote, in the wood, unquote, exclamation point. I followed the poem to a location where there was a man-made basalt sand, quote, open parentheses, brown, close parentheses, ledge, hidden in the shadows, and a 5 blaze mark pattern.
Aye.
Jippy.
Jippy.
5 blaze,
aye,
and
aye,
under
aye.
it 3 liftable stones, and under that, nothing. How frustrating is that? Follow Little Warm Springs Road from where it ends in Du Bois, Wyoming, to the abandoned parking area below the, quote, House of Brown, unquote. Then walk through 1 or 2 streams, open parentheses, balls deep in areas, comma, but narrow, close parentheses. I guess if you're a man searching, yes, that would be true. And around fence like sagebrush, then up the hill to 3 lumps of rock slightly leftish of this default pointer, GPS coordinates of treasure hiding spot, colon, 43 degrees, 31 minutes, 42 seconds, 42.1 seconds north, 109 degrees, 38 minutes, 33.4 seconds west. Open parentheses, Google defaults at 18 feet off. Actually, treasure spot is west-southwest of Google marker, open parentheses, leftish, close parentheses, by 18 feet, close parentheses. So that was an embedded parenthetical phrase. I strongly suspect that the treasure was found by accident. Oh, even though Fenn has said you're not going to stumble upon it. Please advise Forrest. I could be wrong, but the coincidences are way too many. Respectfully, William Rafty.
Did you get any of that?
Second place. Well, yeah, I mean, I know generally where it is, but
And he's saying that somebody already got it.
somebody already got it.
Ah.
I strongly suspect the treasure was found by accident.
Oh, I see.
I'm telling you, that sounds like a little bit of... It's just more fun when I could hear those dang videos.
I know.
That's
Barry
our
wasn't too
third
sure
second
about
place
that.
finisher this week.
It's a theme this year.
Yeah.
The year of 2019 is the year of
Second place finishers. Yeah.
This is from Brian, and it's called Drone.
Oh,
Toby, I am a subscriber. Started boots on the ground for chest in 2017, only in Wyoming, not Yellowstone. I have never used a drone. I find myself needing a drone now. Needs for drone
that's how
are...
I end up buying stuff I need.
Needs for drone are 1. No cell service in area of use. Do not use a smartphone anyway. 2. Controller needs monitor large enough for good viewing.
Are there a bunch of questions for this?
3. Camera monitor able to distinguish between smooth and rough rock surface at 200 feet.
Could we do them one at a time?
He wants a recommendation of a drone to buy that,
but
can
these-
solve all these problems.
These are not questions.
No, the question is he wants a recommendation of a drone that he should buy that would solve these problems.
No drone is going to solve that problem.
Why don't you read it instead
Okay.
of having me read it?
All right. Needs for drone are no cell service in the area of use. Do not use smartphone anyway. You're going to have to use a smartphone because the smartphone is how drones communicate. All drones communicate via either wireless or Bluetooth to a smartphone. You're going to download an app from one of the companies, whoever you buy it from. If you buy a DJI, you get the DJI smartphone app, and that's how it communicates with a drone. So you don't need cell phone service because it's communicating via a localized wireless feed, local area network. So you do need a smartphone in order to continue. Controller needs to monitor large enough for good viewing. So if you don't want to use a smartphone, you can actually use a tablet, which is about as big as it's going to you'll be able to use without it getting cumbersome. So the monitor is going to, it's not the quality of the monitor that you need to be worried about. It's the quality of the camera on the drone. That's how you get it. Now, no matter whether you're shooting video at 4K, the signal down to your either smartphone and iPad is 1920 by 1080. It's full 1080. It's full HD. But at full HD, you can resolve that. You're not going to be looking at real time anyway. You're going to be making videos. You should be making videos. Cameras monitor able to distinguish between smooth and rough rock surfaces at 200 feet. 200 feet, you're going to start getting iffy. I would recommend flying at 100 feet. That'll give you the detail you need. And again, that's dependent not on your monitor, but on the camera that's on the drone and the signal that's coming down from there. Camera able to pan at an angle from drone, probably 45 degrees. Okay, so with a drone, you have tilt capability on the camera. You pan with the drone itself. That's flying the drone gives you the ability to pan. So it's not a camera function, it's a drone function. Battery, at least 15 minutes. A spare battery would be nice. Batteries will get you from 15 to 20 minutes. I would recommend at least 4. They're expensive. They're about $80 a piece, but don't go without 4 because they'll take longer to, if you're going out and you get one battery, 15 to 20 minutes, you've got to wait until that recharges again before you fly. Take 4, buy 4.
Or 2.
Sensor to
afford
avoid
4.
wall collisions at slow speeds. The sensors on the new drones avoid wall collisions at any speed unless you do something really, really stupid. Return to base if it gets out of sight or battery low. Yeah, those are automatic as well. I would recommend the Mavic Air. You could go to the Pro model, the Mavic Air Pro, and or the Mavic Pro. It has a higher resolution camera, but they all shoot at 4K. And what you should be doing, you're going to insert an SD card in inside your drone, and you're going to record video to that. If you're trying to do this in real time, it is possible. I'd suggest a tablet over a smartphone. But again, the detail comes from the
Rick
fact
Plank, what are you doing in Las Cruces?
the detail comes from. There's no treasure down Las Cruces. Well, there is a treasure.
He's from Cincinnati, though.
Yeah. So the detail is in the camera on the drone. The reason I recommend the Mavic Air is because it's relatively inexpensive, fully configured with one battery. It's $800. It gives you 4K video and 12K images, so it's highly resolute. And again, you have to learn how to fly it. I'd recommend a minimum. I have 4 batteries altogether. And that's what I recommend as a minimum if you're serious about this. You can go with 2, but now you have 30 minutes worth of flight time before you have to recharge that battery. And there's a 2-hour recharge time. So you got to sit around while that's happening.
You should plan to, but
Yeah.
30 minutes, most people are done with 30 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you're using it as a search tool, right? If you're using it as a real-time search tool, then you're going to want as many batteries as possible. The price of the Mavic Air, did I say, is around $800. You might be able to find them for less. If you buy them in kits, you can get a whole kit for around $800. Batteries are about $80 each. But again, I strongly recommend you get more than one. The Mavic Air does have collision sensors above, below, each side, front and back. So 6-dimension collision sensors, and it does have an automatic return to base if it gets out of range. Not out of sight. You shouldn't be flying out of your sight anyway. But if it gets out of range of the radio, which in the case of the Mavic Air is about 2, I've had it out to 2 kilometers. Some people get it out to 3. But if you hit the return to home button, it'll come back. Now, one of the things that you'll have to adjust when you do return to home is it flies at an altitude that you predetermine. So you make sure that your predetermined altitude for return to home is higher than the area trees. Don't make that mistake. Some people have. Mavic Air, $800, 4 batteries, $80 a piece.
Evan Penn uses a trained peregrine falcon with a GoPro.
Nice. There was just a video on YouTube
Is
from
it?
some company in Scotland.
Yeah?
And I don't know whether they put a GoPro or it was a composited, but it's basically a bird in flight with a GoPro on its back. You see its little head moving around. It looked like a peregrine falcon. It looked like a falcon. So, and they got
How
a
much
flight.
can they carry?
Well, they can carry a big mouse. GoPro isn't much heavier than that. So I think the hard part is getting it would have to be a trained falcon because you would have to get them to agree
To grip it by the...
by the wings.
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm just thinking of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
What is
Talked
that?
about the sparrows flying,
Oh.
and carrying
I
the
got- well, they're-
coconuts.
the
And how did you get coconuts? And then
Falcons are
Sparrow
trainable.
brought it.
They're trainable. So I mean that's what all the Mideastern countries, that's their hobby in the Mideast. So I guess you could. I don't
All
see any
right.
the difference is the drone
grip it.
is in your control, and you
the
can tell it
husk.
where to go, how far to go, you return. The peregrine falcon just mouse.
Drop the camera, get the
Yeah,
mouse.
drop the camera, get the mouse.
All right. This is Jim in Oklahoma. Just a few questions. And
There's a full moon.
yeah. Hey, Tobster, and the softer one. I guess that's me.
That's you.
Thought I would give y'all a shout out for the first time. I watch y'all's Wednesday and Friday night shows. Well, thank you, Jim. Number 1. Is it a fact that Fenn left his home in Santa Fe, hid the treasure in the same afternoon, and was back home before his wife knew he was gone? I'm mainly wondering where he left from when he went to hide the chest. Was it his home in Santa Fe, or does anyone really know? No one really knows. We believe it was from his home in Santa Fe.
So it was a full day affair, right? From the time he got up in the morning. As a matter of fact, we wrote a story on it, and we read it. Our impression of the things that he said is he got up in the morning, had breakfast, packed his car, drove to the place where he was going to hide the treasure. By that time, it was afternoon. He made 2 trips back and forth, 4 trips total, hid the treasure, buried it in that 22-foot deep hole. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't.
But anyway,
And then and drove back home in time for dinner. That's if you look at the composited stories of all the stories he's told.
yeah.
That's kind of how it works out.
Except he never said he left from home.
Right.
And he never answered the question, did you drive a rental car?
Right. And so he could have done it, assuming, let's say, for example, he and his wife were staying in Cody at one of the Buffalo Bill Museum events because he was one of the trustees of the Buffalo, and he used to go up there regularly. So he could have done the same thing having left from Cody. He could have been staying overnight in Yellowstone. He could have done the same thing there. He's never given any indication as to where he was when he made that day-long trip to hide the treasure. You just have to, like Davio said, you have to believe. You have to believe.
Number 2, do you know anything about this so-called map that Illinois Ghost Rick says is online for anyone, but you have to find it? He mentioned it on a show you were hosting a while back that I watched.
So Rick talks about a map that he has that helps him in his treasure hunt. He's never indicated, to the best of my knowledge, that it was available online. I don't ever remember him saying that, or the impression I got.
He talked about a map that was online that anybody could see. It was during one of our panels, but this was like more than a year ago.
That's a question you'd have to ask Rick. As you can see, I don't remember the conversation. So, if he does have something, you'd have to ask him about it. I don't know anything about any special map on the internet.
Yeah. Number 3, what is your thoughts about no paddle up your creek being a hint that your put in below the home of Brown is not water of any kind? I have heard that put in is a boating term of sorts, and Fenn knew people would jump all over that. There are several definitions of put in. Something as simple as pull off the road or pull over is considered to be a put in. Was it really? What are your thoughts about that?
So, no paddle up your creek, I don't think is a hint. It's a clue. We feel like it's one of the 9 clues. There'll be no paddle up your creek, indicating that the creek that you're looking at, or whatever the creek is meant to be, is unpaddleable. Is that a word?
It is now.
Okay. But we don't see, we see those in the context of the entire poem and the relevance of each clue along the way. We don't know how that's related to the home of Brown. How did he say that? Put in below the home of Brown. So there are, to the best of my knowledge, two categories of people that use the phrase put in. One is boaters. One category is boaters. And the other category is truckers, because truckers will put in for the night.
But what about the brothers? Put attention, you fellow.
Oh, put attention. Yeah, there was Brother Aloysius, my drafting teacher. Put attention, you fellow. Whack, and then he'd smack you on the back of the head.
People are like, I don't know what they're talking about.
With his reversed class ring.
Just ignore them.
So put in is a term used primarily by boaters. You put in for the night. You look for a place to set your hook and put in for the night. I don't know how if you're floating downstream, if you're in a raft and going downstream, you look for a place to put in for the night. That's how you use that. That's how I've always seen that term used. So I don't know what else it could mean.
Okay. Number 4, do you or Shelley believe there is any kind of hint in Fenn's T.S. Eliot quote that he's mentioned a couple of times? After all our exploring, we will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. That quote makes me think I am going in circles, or at least starting someplace and ending at the exact type of place, just in a different area. Example, starting at a depot and ending at a depot, but each of those depots are in different places. You and Shelley have a great evening. So, Jim, we talked about that at dinner this evening, in fact. So, Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta takes place in Albuquerque, and there are many, many hot air balloon owners and enthusiasts who live in Albuquerque because of something known as the box. Toby's going to explain to you what the box is.
So, the box is an atmospheric effect that enables balloonists at a particular altitude to fly in one direction, then fill their balloons with gas to raise their altitude in a second direction. Right. Heat their balloons so they rise. And then there's another wind in literally the opposing direction. So they get to fly back this way, then they release air, they descend, and they just do this routine. And you can see them because one of the games that they play for the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta is touchdown, right? So they have to touch down at a certain spot, or they have to wet their baskets in the Rio Grande
Dip.
River.
Take a dip.
And because of the box, this atmospheric effect that's unique to Albuquerque, I don't know if it's necessarily unique to Albuquerque, but it's obviously what
It's
makes
got
Albuquerque.
to do with the mountains.
Right.
San Diaz being right there.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And so it's called the box. And the nice thing about the box is it lets you return back to the beginning, which is very much like this T.S. Eliot quote. When we were at Moby Dickens, there was a woman who was a searcher at that time. I don't know if she's still searching. Her name was Katia Luce, or Luce, if our gentleman who visits a room every once in a while pronounces that way. I think she pronounced it Katia Luce. She was the woman who was one of the segments on the Expeditions Unknown story on the Fenn treasure. And she asked Fenn the question, if I follow the clues, will I be switching back or coming back to the beginning? Something like that.
Switch
and,
back.
And he said, he looked at her and he knew her, that she was a serious searcher at the time. She had literally moved back from living in Hawaii to come and search for this treasure. Don't know why anybody would do that, but hey. And he looked at her and he says, I know you, little girl. You're looking for that treasure. You know, something like that. And he says, well, let me think about that. And then he says, I think I could say no, that you wouldn't find yourself switching back. So if he meant switching back in the switching back sense of the word, where you're switching back and up and back on a canyon, that's one thing. But if he meant the switching back, getting back to the beginning, and when you listen to the way that she asked the question, it was more like that. The impression you got from the question was she was asking, if I started here and went here, would I end up back here? That's what she was asking. And I think the switchback phrase didn't confuse him. I think he took that phrase and he thinks, like when somebody says switchbacks to me, I always think about going up and down a mountain, and that switchback route that doesn't require you to climb directly up the 60-degree slope or whatever it is. So go back and listen to that question, because he doesn't quite answer it. So between the T.S. Eliot thing and that he's always telling us to get back in the box, and the box is a very specific atmospheric characteristic that he, as a pilot, would have known about. Not that he was a balloon pilot, but he would have known, if somebody were to say the box in Albuquerque, he would know what they were talking about. So maybe there's something there.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the box and it being located in Albuquerque, and the quote, after all our exploring, we will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. And I conclude that that means that the treasure is hidden in New Mexico, not that far from his home, perhaps within a 90-minute drive.
In a box. In his box.
In his box, right? If you drew a box and you went just north, of his home, and 90 minutes.
So I hope that answers all your questions, Jim in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You and Shelley have a great evening. Thanks for the feedback, Jim S. in Oklahoma.
You were the reason God made Oklahoma.
We were singing that tonight. I was in the Big R store the other day, and they started playing that, and it was so weird. I hadn't heard it in years, and it brought back all these pleasant memories. And I was telling Shelley about the story, and I asked Google to play it for us. So we started singing
Then
it.
we got a
Turns
whole
out
playlist of old-timey
country and western.
country music.
You got your country, you got your western.
Got both kinds. All right. Should
anyway,
we say hello?
I didn't know that Shelley knew the song, and sure enough, there she was singing.
My parents listened to a lot of country music when I was growing up. So, I'm at 7:19 as far as I can go.
Let me go back to, I'm at 7. I'm at 17, so yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, Davio's here. Mr. T. D.B. Cooper. William. Michael Wimmer. A.J. Rainville. Da Bear.
Da Bear.
Is this another second place solve? Yeah. It's the whole theme for the year. Second place solves. Tom Sawyer. Scott Douglas. Seymour. Evan Penn.
Under the Bleachers by Seymour Butts. Remember that one? Ellen
My-
Kay says, does it
yeah.
bug anyone else when people say House of Brown? Yes. It makes me crazy.
House. Brian Eagle. Jack. Milan Fenner. West Guide TAS. Evelyn Curie. Hooley. Scott Douglas. Sakar. Tom Sawyer. Want to go camping. LR.
Their house fun, bro.
What? Jungle Cruiser. Brown is someone, not something. Okay. Scott Douglas. Jack. Sakar. Forrest Fenn has said the unintended clue was the Canadian border map thing, but he also has said it doesn't take a genius to figure out the clue people are talking about in the preface. Paraphrasing. Yep. That is a good summary of what he said.
Just go back and watch Moby Dickens
Yeah.
again.
Otis Mago.
And